Hey guys, what's happening? This is Forgo Nation, and today I want to do a little makeup video for a video I made not too long ago about crit rate and crit damage. I believe I misspoke in that video, so I want to make sure that I put out the correct information for you guys this time. I also want to apologize for the last video if I misled people or made them think something that wasn't true. That was not my intention. So hopefully in this video I can explain things a little bit better, and I want to give a good shout out to one of my subscribers, Titan Thanos, because he really worded this in a way that I think was a little bit easier to understand. So when we go into the details page, you guys, you see that crit rate and crit damage there. Okay, so in the last video I didn't mention that there are two types of hits, which are normal hits and critical hits. And I also said in the other video that critical hits are when you land a successful attack. But that's incorrect, guys, and that's not what I meant by that. I misspoke, I said it wrong, so let's correct it. Anytime you're hitting an opponent, whether it's a normal hit or a critical hit, you're landing a successful attack, guys. Anytime you're hitting them, you're doing a successful attack. As long as you're hitting them, as long as they're not dodging, going into an iframe, whatever. Normal hits are just regular hits. That's it. They're just normal, regular hits. When you're just hitting an opponent with no extra damage. And crit hits are hits that are multiplied by your critical damage. Crit rate is the rate of how many of those normal hits will be critical hits. So if you have a skill that deals 10 hits and you have 50% crit rate, then 5 of those 10 hits will be crit hits, and 5 of those hits will be normal hits. If a normal hit deals 200 damage, and you land a skill that deals 10 hits, if you have 0 crit rate, you would take 200 times 10 hits, because there's no crit rate, which means no critical hits. You would take 10 times 200, and that would equal 2,000 damage. Now, if you have 50% crit rate, then 5 of those 10 hits will be critical hits. So, like for example, if you have a skill that lands 10 hits, another skill that lands 10 hits, and you have 75% crit rate, well then 7 to 8 of those hits will be critical hits. This isn't a concrete thing, it's just, I'm just giving you a gauge to go by, you guys. Alright? So anyways, if you have 50% crit rate, then 5 of your 10 hits will be crit hits, multiplied by your critical damage. You would only take those 5 hits multiplied by your critical damage. So if you have 50% crit rate and 200 crit damage, then 5 hits would be normal hits. And if each normal hit is 200, then you would take 200 times 5, which would equal 1,000 damage. And then the other 5 hits of those 10 hits would be critical hits, because you have 50% crit rate. And then you would multiply the other 5 hits by 200, and then multiply them by 200 critical damage to equal 2,000 damage, which is a total of 3,000 damage for all 10 hits together. That's how you figure it out, you guys. It's kind of when you think about it, it's not that difficult. It's just there's a lot of math involved. It can get a little goofy. And in the last video I was like, I think people were thinking that they need to prioritize crit rate or critical damage over the other. The truth is, guys, that's not the case. They're both equally important. It doesn't, when you're equipping an obelisk, when you're putting an obelisk on a character, when you're trying to decide whether you should put ignore defense or critical damage or crit rate, you want to prioritize whatever you need for that character. It's going to depend on your cards. Like on my cards, I have plenty of ignore defense. I have, I don't need it, but I do need critical damage. So a lot of my obelisk, I'll have crit damage as a main stat. Let me see if I can find another one here. Let's see here, who's got it? Let's see what she's got. Oh no, she's got crit rate. Oh yeah, she's got a critical damage bump, I think. Let's look at Angel here. There we go. So see, like that orange stat, I just equip a critical damage because that's what I need. But if you need ignore defense, then you should have ignore defense stat. If you need ignore dodge, then you should have ignore dodge stat, and so on and so on and so on. So I don't want to mislead you guys. Something else. Guaranteed critical rate. Whenever I spoke about it in the last video, I don't think I was really saying exactly what it was. I mean, I know what it is. It's just I think that I was wording it wrong. What it is an extra chance to deal critical hits, guys. It's an extra chance. So but something I did mention in the other video is that if you have a character that does have guaranteed critical rate, like Gambit here, he has guaranteed critical rate. Characters that have guaranteed critical rate, you don't want to give them any kind of extra support that has a critical rate. For example, if I can find old Coulson here, where are you at, punk? Fine, here he is. Just like Coulson here, on his passive he increases guaranteed critical rate by 20%. Putting two guaranteed critical rates on the same team is not going to benefit you at all. You know, you're only going to be able to use one of them, so it's kind of a wasted stat. The 45% damage dealt to supervillain types will apply to your heroes, but you won't get that 20% critical rate if your character that you're using has a guaranteed critical rate. So that's something to remember. Something else that you should know, guys, is that whenever your crit rate's real funny, because whenever you're facing other characters that have crit rate, like for example, if you're a tier 2, whoops, wrong one. If you're a tier 2 and you're level 70 tier 2 and you have 50% crit rate, and then you face an opponent that has level 70 tier 2 and has 50% crit rate, both of your crit rates will be cut in half. That's something to always remember. You know, when you're facing an opponent that has a higher level, so for example, if you're level 60 and you're facing a level 70 and you're both tier 2 and you both have 50% crit rate, the guy that's a level 70 is going to have more crit rate than you. You will be put at a disadvantage because of that. It's like when you face the Beast in ABX. The Beast in ABX is a level 100. So when you're taking a level 70 or level 60 character in there against the ABX Beast, you're losing a tremendous amount of crit rate. So that's something else to remember. So we'll run through this one more time, you guys. If you deal 100 points per normal hit and you land 10 hits and you have 50% crit rate and 200% critical damage, 5 hits will be normal and 5 hits will be crit hits. So you would take the 5 normal hits, multiply it by 100, which is the damage per hit, and then you would equal 500 normal damage from those 5 hits. Then you would take the other 5 hits, which are your crit hits, and multiply them by 100 also, because that's the damage per hit, and that would equal 500 damage, but you would multiply that 500 times your critical damage, which is 200%, and that would equal 1,000 damage. After that, you would add the two amounts together, the 500 and the 1,000, and it would equal 1,500 total damage for those 10 hits altogether. And guaranteed critical rate is the chance after you land a hit and the hit is not a crit hit, you gain an extra percentage chance of getting a crit hit. So again, if you have 50% critical rate and you land 10 hits from your skill, 5 of those hits will be normal hits and 5 of those hits will be crit hits. Well, when you have guaranteed critical rate, those 5 normal hits, there's a chance that some of those hits will have crit hits also, which means you're getting more than just your 50% critical rate chance. You're getting more hits, guys. You're getting more hits that have damage. And remember, you guys, there's a lot of variables in the game. You know, Your crit rate will always change depending on the world bosses you fight, ABX, the opponents you face in PvP. It can vary. There's a lot of variables that come into play. You know, when your characters are dodging. I mean, there's a ton of things, you guys. But I hope that you understand what these things are. So I hope this helps you out, you guys. I hope that I explained it a little bit better for you. And let me show you one more thing real quick. So if you look really close, you guys, you can see an exclamation point next to the number. Whenever you see that, that's when you're critical hitting. Just to let you guys know, just a little tidbit of information. So I hope that I have clarified things. I hope that this is clear for you guys. I hope that it's easier to understand. Let me know what you think. If I'm wrong, if I'm right, you know, please let me know, because if I'm wrong, I'll gladly admit it, and I'll gladly try to make up for it, because I want you guys to have the right information. I don't want to say something that's incorrect or wrong. I want to make sure that I'm telling you the right way. Sometimes when I explain things, I assume things, and I should never assume. I should never do that. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one.